fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, again. They got go. Gotta wake up. Gotta wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
All right. I've got to get a bathrobe like that and maybe a gold watch and a gold microphone too. I am super tired today, but we're going to get it done. I had about 16 and a half hour day yesterday with driving and the market open and waiting for my car to get fixed and driving back. And I am tired as hell. Got home about 11 o'clock last night. Eventually got to sleep and now I'm here today. So I might not have all the news. I think I have a lot of it. I tried to use my moments in between charging the car and doing whatever to keep abreast of the situation. And it's looking good, guys. I think there's actually a lot of amazing things going on right now. Some posts from a friend, Caleb Franzen. Let's get you a BTC bathrobe. I like it. But and I also so Caleb had this post today, which was a good one, right? It shows the S&P, the Nasdaq looks even better. The Russell isn't far behind. It shows this is a breakout pattern. Like, this is good. Now, don't get me wrong. We could get up up here ways, and then, we're kind of, with the trend, and then maybe we're reaching the upper end of it over the short term, and then we take a little break. But this looks like a breakout, and like we're going to go higher in the next week. And then somebody posted, I'm ready for the pullback. And Caleb's like, why are you worried about a pullback? And I threw in here, I go, that's not what's happening. This is a breakout pattern. And the market had plenty of time to drop between DeepSeek AI, tariff wars, hot inflation, data, and more. This is the definition of climbing the wall of worry. And I stole some of that, too, from my boy Tom Lee, who, again, said we had plenty of opportunity to fall off a cliff, and we remained incredibly resilient. Again, so goes January, so goes the year. January went well. And the wonderful part about some of this is that we have the fear and greed index still sitting just barely above fear territory. The PPI that we got yesterday, when you include the revisions, actually looked good. It looks promising. It looks like it's improving. And I've got to say, guys, I think when you throw in seasonality and you look at what we're going to see for the next readings in the CPI and the PPI, I think they're going to be very good. And tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, they are a good thing. I want to reiterate this over and over and over again, as much as I possibly have to. All Trump is doing is saying, hey, guys, we're going to tariff you at the rate you tariff us. So maybe drop your tariffs. Yeah, HIMS is ridiculous. The short squeeze on that looks amazing, Tippy. What was it, up 28% yesterday? It's up again today. I do think Palantir is probably getting toppy, but something like HIMS can probably still run for a little bit. It's also run really, really hard too. I think you'll definitely need to pay attention to momentum on that one. But there's one video I want to jump into because there's a lot of questions about whether or not we're late cycle or early cycle. I believe very strongly that we're early cycle right now because of the fundamental things that are going on in the world, because of all the disinflation we're seeing around the world, because we're seeing in the United States very, very pro-growth policies, low taxation environment, bringing all the business here at the same time that we're actually making it to where our debt's going to be sustainable. There's just a lot of really good things going on, which is why markets are reacting so positively to it. And I think a lot of the things that I'm invested in and that you guys are probably invested in are going to start doing really, really well. Hey, JT, good morning to Taiwan. But so I feel very positively about it. I wanted to play this video real quick. This is from a guy. This is Andre Stenold Larson. He's on Real Vision a decent amount. He used to be on Blockworks. He's getting interviewed by Blockworks right now. The new interviewer is a guy I love. His name escapes me. But he has a lot of good data in here. I'm probably going to do a series of posts based on some of this. But there's one thing that he says about how we value companies today and the fact that like their PE ratios and all these other things are really, really high. They're at what you would normally see at the end of a cycle. And I think he has a very salient point on why that we're not into the cycle, because the world is different. And I want to give him just a second to talk about it. He'll use Meta as an example. I don't know if it's the best one. I would prefer Tesla or something else, but it works. So let's listen to it, and then we can keep going.
And if you look at the client base of Meta, to take one example, Meta has been on a tear basically over the past 14 days. Is it possible that every single person on Earth ends up being a client of Meta? Yes, that's very possible. That was not the case in 2000 when you saw similar valuations. It was not a feasible scenario to expect some of these players to have every single person on Earth as clients. I think that's a feasible scenario for Meta.
I still got to watch that one, Martin.
I'm exaggerating this, but the concentration of power is extreme relative to what we've seen at any point in history. So Buffett indicators, all of that boomer shit, throw it in the garbage can. It's not designed for this era.
I 100% agree with that. So all that boomer shit, I love that. But just think about it this way, guys. We have a very interconnected world right now, and sure, there's some reshoring and stuff like that that's happening. But you still have the ability with like a company like Tesla, especially with autonomy and robotics, to say that the valuations are too high when literally the entire world could end up using their products by 2030, and I think they will. Is just it's boomer shit. Right? Like back in the day, you would assume that, okay, you got regional players that specialize in different things. You can only get so much of the market. It's just not that way anymore. You can capture the entire world. And I think that that's something that we have to fully understand. And especially, I want to use Tesla as the example because I think it's a better one than what he put up. And especially when you're looking at, full autonomy and owning the market and robotics and being way ahead of everybody else. There was a very good video yesterday. Had Jeff Lutz, I think Herbert in it, and maybe a few others. I don't know. It's for sure that with them some dialogue. And Jeff, as usual, Farzad, sorry, it was his channel. My bad, Farzad. He was in there too, and he's always insightful. I don't want to discount him. But Jeff, of course, has this manufacturing background, and he's worked for very big companies and done quite well. Also has crazy glasses and some wild hair. I love it. Like the way I wear a hat, he wears his hair. It's just like all in the back and stuff. It's just beautiful. Anyway, I love Jeff. But he was talking to the fact that, God, I might have lost my train of thought here talking too much about that. I'll try and get back to it. The manufacturer, he was talking about how the stack with Tesla and the robotics is so unique to Tesla. They have, and how BYD, and he's much more diplomatic than me. I think BYD is a failing company, and I think they're lying to people about their eye of God technology for their full self-driving, because 2 years ago, their CEO literally said to us, I don't think full self-driving is real. And now all of a sudden, they've dominated the market. I think it's utter bullshit. They've got like 3 tiers of this fucking shit for like the poor man's version, and with LiDAR. LiDAR is fucking trash. LiDAR does not know what it's looking at. It just knows there's an option or an object sitting in front of it. So if anything, LiDAR confuses the situation more, which is why Waymo couldn't do what Tesla did and just get dumped into Mexico and then it's live, right? It couldn't fucking do that. Why can't it do that? Because you need high definition mapping, giving it some indication of what's around so it can guess and be like, hey, there's an object over here. I think it's what this other thing used to be. That's fucking LiDAR. If you think that that's the technology that's going to transform it, you're an idiot and you don't understand the technology. So BYD sounds like Nikola. This is literally a grab from probably with the CCP. It's all timed around the same time. Now we're all of a sudden we're talking about Alibaba AI and all this. It's like DeepSeek and all this stuff is happening around the same time. It's a fucking money grab. It's the last one that the Chinese government has in order to be able to pull Western money. Because like Eunice Yoon said in last week, the Chinese people aren't buying this. They have no fucking money. They have no money to buy the stocks that you guys are buying or that somebody in the West is buying. So, but I just wanted to say, like, I think Tesla is in a unique position where they are years ahead of competition, and it's not easy to build what they have, even though you'll hear about all these Tesla AI autonomy killers. It's the same bullshit that we've heard for years about the auto sector. And I think I just saw one of those. Let me see here real quick. I just saw some bullshit about or one of these companies. Let me find it real quick. I think AJ posted it, I think. Let me see here real fast. About Mercedes. This was a Tesla killer, guys. This was, Volkswagen. This was a Tesla killer. And there's just nothing left. And it's not, and I think he had Mercedes on here too. Yeah, okay. There's nothing left, guys. They're all fucking dying. And here's the thing that the West doesn't understand is China is lying to you about their success. Less cursing, kid, with me for now. I will work on it, my friend. It's not easy for me, but I will try. I'm not good at it. Ask anybody that knows me. But all these other companies are dying and China's lying to you. They're lying to you. They had over 500 EV companies. 99% of them are failing. They're still better than legacy auto in the United States and Europe. I mean, I'll give them that. But they're not comparable to Tesla. And so you can have Tesla in the future where Tesla will literally command the entire market. And so it deserves, don't grade it on this old boomer crap. Okay? Don't grade it on that. Grade it on what it will be, not what has been. We already got rid of Kamala, okay? It's different now. See, I haven't cussed at all. I've been really good now. I'm trying real hard. Purdy says, anyone else excited for Jesse's take on GME? I actually think they're probably going to buy Bitcoin. As crazy as that sound. They got billions of dollars and they've done things that are more retarded. You got to remember, didn't they buy a gold mining company? They're going to buy Bitcoin. I think that's just a given. My guy, you got to buy headphones. My 3-year-old is with me too. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I should try and do better. If I'm going to get bigger as an account, I got to do better anyways. And maybe I'll never get bigger or better. I don't know. We'll try though. We will try. We'll put forth a good effort. So yeah, so this all I'm saying is this whole give a very critical lens to companies that are going to be coming in over the next several years and go from telling you that they don't believe in autonomy to they're leading it and they've hired 5,000 employees for it. It doesn't matter if they've hired 5,000 employees. If they have 3 different systems for autonomy, their data is garbage. And one of them just like looks around and it goes, oh my God, there's stuff over here. I think the high definition map tells me it's a car. Run somebody over. And let's be clear, they're cheating. They're cheating. This is what China has been doing for decades. This is what they've learned, okay? They learned copy, lie, replace. Copy, lie, replace. There's probably some person in the demos that they're doing where they're like, oh, it's the one demo you've ever seen and we don't have millions of cars using it. And they're like, oh my God, it's better than FSD. It was so amazing on how well it handled. What do you want to bet? There's somebody on the other end of that, since they're paying you to sit in this car to be able to tell people how amazing it is, driving the car. Does that sound crazy? Since there's like no BYDs that are actually using this? Does that sound crazy? I don't think so. So be skeptical, guys. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot and assume that automatically there's a Tesla killer out there. If you do that, you're going to be wrong. And realize that the valuation for Tesla will be global. So don't value it like a car company that only lives in the United States and maybe a couple of other countries. It will be global and it will replace 99% of existing human labor. That's what Tesla's doing. All right, Livongo. No LiDAR is only used to avoid bumping into objects, detects volume and shapes and distances. 3D mapping. Vision works by labeling objects, and Waymo does that, but Tesla excels. LiDAR is retarded. LiDAR is retarded. It is meant for maybe initial testing and calibration. It is not a system that will work well for autonomy. I use the system that works well. It drove me around all of yesterday for 9.5 hours without intervention. It's called using your eyes. That's what FSD does. It uses its eyes, and it has a lot more than us. And it's a smarter computer. LiDAR is completely worthless unless you're docking to a space station. Again, Elon Musk has already made it very clear. He's not anti-LiDAR, okay? He uses it for SpaceX, but there's times you use it and there's times you don't. Yeah, 3 systems across 40 different models. It's stupid. BYD is lying to you. And I will say that because I'm not the person who pussyfoots around. That doesn't count as a curse word, by the way. Just to be clear. Totally different thing. Anyway. All right, we're getting going today. So so reciprocal tariffs are going to be good. We've got the dollar falling the hardest it has in 3 weeks. We've got about 17 minutes, 16 and a half. And we will see, tell your kid that doesn't count. We've got 16 and a half minutes, and we'll be looking at the first set of economic data. We got a lot of economic data. But again, this is a perfect rejection over here, guys, on a megaphone pattern. And I could see us going down and testing down into the 100 range again on the dollar. And if we zoom out even more, I think this dollar is going to break down. Again, we have had a trend, guys, that goes all the way back to the Wayback Machine here to, 1987, 1986. No, I'm sorry, 1984, 1985. Final answer. 1985. And again, we used it as support. We broke underneath of it. And then more recently here, we turned it into resistance. And the early 2000s, and the trend is down, and we failed against it here. And I don't even think, I said before, maybe we could get up to the 112 range before rolling over. But again, we know this, guys. We know we need a swear jar for Jesse. Dude, I'd lose a lot of money. I would be a very poor person. I would need to get more subs if I had a swear jar. Anyway, but yeah, so I think we're going to break down. I think we're going to test down here. I think there's a chance, a strong chance, because if we look back historically to 2016, that we see the dollar go even lower and it goes sub 1. And so I'm very excited about what's going to happen here this year. I think people think it's difficult. Like I was talking to the Wolf guys and Evan, the stock market guys. They have like 1 million followers on X between the two of them. And I know the Wolf guy just started, not the same as the Wolf Research that actually does the earnings call. These guys are like 26, they're young. But he started doing interviews with a lot of the Tesla peeps too. But I know he was saying like, I don't know if a third year, if we can see the market pull it off where it does another 20%. I think a lot of people think that, and I think they're going to be proven wrong. And I'm very excited to see that day happen. But the dollar's going down. We've got oil sitting around 71.86, got a little bit of a bump yesterday. We got the S&P, guys. Let's just look at this real quick, and then we'll get over to the economic data. We got the S&P. I mean, again, this is not a bearish pattern in any way. This is where the week is getting ready to close, well above previous weekly highs. Not a bearish pattern. Let's look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is already literally testing its previous all-time high. This is not a bearish weekly pattern. And the Russell, let me pull that over here real quick. It doesn't look any different, guys. Here's the Russell. And tell me that doesn't look like a breakout pattern too, okay? So I think there's really good things coming. I think anybody who's waiting for the apocalypse is going to be sad because they're not going to get it. All right, so 7:30, we've got some Canadian manufacturing sales, new motor vehicles. Of course, the Canadians are way down at the bottom of the list. Sorry, guys. We'll wait last to kind of review their stuff. Big things for today, export-import prices. We want to see whether or not the stuff that we're importing is very expensive and if it's becoming inflationary. Previous was 0.1%. They're forecasting 0.4 for consensus and 0.3 for forecast for import prices. So they're saying that the prices are going to be going up a lot. We'll see if that's the case. And I do think in the months ahead that's going to roll over because I think, again, the threat of tariffs over the short term will actually lower some of the consumption and make it to where these exporters that are trying to like ship stuff out of China into the United States are going to have a surplus. And so they're going to be discounting in order to be able to get that stuff to us because they want us to buy it desperately. So I think you're going to see import prices starting to come down because of the pressure that Trump tariffs are putting on them. And then, and again, reciprocal tariffs are a beautiful thing because when I showed you the chart yesterday, or not the chart, but the image of the world showing all the countries that are putting heavy amounts of tariffs on us, including India being right near the top, Argentina, just a bunch of countries in Africa and Central America. And again, the Chinese doing a lot of tariffs too. Reciprocal tariffs are great because they literally force people to go, hey, if we don't want to have high tariffs against us so we can sell our goods, we've got to lower them against the United States. And if we lower them against the United States, we will benefit. And so if they want to be able to sell the goods, they have to do that. CleanSpark has been a huge disappointment. All right, congrats, Stubble. The diversification's good. And you're right, it has not done well, but Bitcoin's getting ready to take off. So focus more on the future and not what has been, and just learn from what's already happened, but focus on the future, okay? And CleanSpark could still be a fucking disappointment. It doesn't really matter if you're diversified in your portfolio. If you have 100% of your money in it, if you're like Rex and like, this is the greatest company in the world, and I own like, I don't even know what his percentage is. Maybe you guys know, but let's just assume that it's like 50% because he talks about it all the time. Then it's a huge disappointment. If it's one of the things that you own and you've got a bunch more, then it won't be. Did you liquidate Hood? Yes, I liquidated Hood. I didn't do it after earnings. I did it before earnings. And that's okay because I've made probably between 1,600 and 1,700% off of Hood. I made tons of money off of Hood over the last 2 years because I called it a lot earlier than most other people. And so I did really good on Hood. Anyway, moving on, back to the work. And so we've got retail sales, we've got, again, export, import, we've got industrial production, capacity utilization, manufacturing production, business and retail inventory. So we'll be going over all of that today. Oh, let's get over here. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think that we're set up really, really well for the market to go higher. And that's why I think we're seeing other stuff. And I think just the sheer success of Donald Trump is indication of why we're seeing things like this too. And it's only up 17% on the day today. But I think that's another reason why we saw a very large spike in Trump coin. And this is looking good. If we get back up to here around the 21 range, we've got a really good opening up till about 25, 27 before we start to peak in this. And the great thing about this is it's very much like, I can't say it's like ARKG, but it's got a really small cap. In the crypto world, 3 billion range is such a small amount of money for a really prominent shitcoin. And yes, Trump is a shitcoin, but it's not a big number. And again, if you look over here, let me see, market cap by day. Why isn't this bubble size by market cap? That isn't right. Something's weird. Oh, this is the 100 to 200. We want this one. So again, in the market cap world, you see things like XRP. XRP is utter trash. Don't get me wrong, like the president's meeting with people that are involved with it, whatever. BNB is not really used much. Tron isn't used that much. Doge. Trump, I don't even know where Trump is on this. Can anybody see it? Oh, here it is. Little baby Trump. So all these things can get much, much higher. Doge is literally a shitcoin about dogs, and it is sitting at 10x the market cap of Trump coin. And this thing could be 100 billion plus easily. It could be 200 billion for a market cap this cycle if altcoins really take off. So I don't think it's crazy, especially if Trump puts any kind of incentive behind this when it's sitting under $4 billion for this thing to go up at least 10x. I think it's very, very likely, honestly. Florent Christoph, India index is also looking good after a 20% correction. Yeah, I think so, because you know what people are realizing? They're realizing that reciprocal tariffs will actually force other countries to lower their tariffs, which help the United States. It's not meant to make a bunch of money off of other countries. It's meant to force them to give us an open and free trade environment if they want access to this market. And I also think there was a great video I watched yesterday. Her name is Lynn. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Just give me 1 second. She is brilliant. She was from China, and she talks about China all the time, and she lives in America now. But she gives a really good lens into what goes on in the country, and she doesn't do it from a point of bitterness or anything like that. It's just very articulate. meant to discover what's going on in China.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Right here. She was talking about how Xi, there's speculation about Xi being very upset diplomatically on a number of fronts. The fact that China is being shut out of the negotiations between Ukraine and Russia and the United States right now. We're going it alone. The fact that Xi thought that we would be very willing to negotiate tariffs early on. And we have not done that, even though they went light. They went light on their tariffs, basically their counter tariffs against what we had done with 10% of goods. And then we basically queued them up and said, we don't really give a fuck about you right now. We're going to tariff Canada. Oh my God, I said it. I'm sorry, dude. We said we're going to tariff Canada. We're going to tariff Mexico. We're gonna go after these guys, and then we just left them hanging. And so Xi has been sidelined with that. He was sidelined also with Japan. They had some Asian Winter Games. He thought the Prime Minister of Japan was going to come see him. Instead of going there, like his diplomat had said was going to happen, the Prime Minister of Japan met with Trump because that's what everybody's doing. And so Xi has really been put on the back burner. And there's a lot of things that aren't really going well for China right now on top of that. And but this channel, Lee's Real Talk, I love her, and she is a brilliant person to listen to get like a good view of the speculation and the rumors with some really great real world dynamics of her understanding of China and the inner workings of the CCP, not from a standpoint of being like a bitter person who's just trying to talk negatively about it all the time, but somebody who really does a good job speculating, articulating, and trying to come to the truth. And she's been very accurate over the last 5 years that I have followed her. And so I think she's great, or 4, whatever it's been. I don't even know anymore. So she's another great person. But I think that China is under a lot of pressure right now. Again, Scott Bessent said that they're at the edge of a depression. And I think that there's a lot of stuff going on right now that I think is going to be very interesting. We do have 5 minutes until we get our updated data here. What do you guys want to talk about for 5 minutes? I'll probably just wait here. Let's see. What do we got? Good morning, Jesse. Just wanted to say thanks for the Tesla bottom call. Managed to buy in the low 300s. You are the man. Congrats. I'm diversified Tesla, MicroStrategy, Mara, and more. That's good. I think TLT is going to be a sleeper too. It's down 0.01% today, but boy, did it have a good day yesterday. Let me just pop it up over here. The thing I love about TLT is with all of the strength, and that's another thing, the Steno Larsen guy that I was talking about right here, this guy, he also, at the end of his messaging here, he talks about bond yields and trueflation measures and how he believes that the long end of the curve is going to do really well, and things like TLT are going to do really well. And can you imagine, guys, just when we get to 98 and start to break out, it's going to be a quick trip to 105. I will make, I think, at least $1 million if that happens in short order, maybe more, a 200% gain, something close to that. So I'm very excited about this because, again, we had the worst bond route. We had the worst bond route in over 200 years, going back to the late 1700s when this country was originally founded. So to think that I would think very easily that it's possible that we have, one of these major moves. This is less than a 2-year time frame where we had a 60% upside in the bond market. Well, if we do that, the golden retracement zone, guys, gets us all the way up to here, and this is where we really start to see some volume trading up in here. Actually, it's probably a little bit lower. It's probably right about here, 50% range. 50% for me can give me 500 to 600% if it happens in the next 5-6 months. And I think we could get some really big pulls up. And so if we got this year, I would make so much, millions and millions of dollars off of something that's just meant to be a hedge. IV spike would be insane. Sure. MicroStrategy breakout soon? I think so. I don't know. So I do think this. Tesla's up, almost 2% today? That's cool. After almost a 6% move yesterday. But I do think this. I think it's more likely, that we see things like ARKG break out first. And we've got about 2.5 minutes until we get economic data. I mean, I think this is happening right now. We got this little range. But I think ARKG could run. I mean, if it runs 26%, that's a 10x for me. So I'd be up over $1 million really quickly in that. But I think some of these are probably likely to break out more first. Could be wrong. Maybe Bitcoin all of a sudden starts taking it. But I do think that gold and the general markets seem to be going first. And then I think when gold starts to slow down and maybe people feel like it's getting a little toppy, we should probably look at that. Then I think that Bitcoin will start to take over the narrative. Jesse, can we check CleanSpark? What's the game plan? Yeah, we can look at that. We'll look at that. Probably not right now because we got about a minute and a half until we take off. I might just we do need to look at gold though too, because I do think my theory is that gold is running first and then comes the Bitcoins. So we might have to do something where maybe we should do a trend-based fib extension. Let's do it real quick here while we have a second. And I'm probably going to use the lows of May of 2022. No, I can't do that. I'm going to use, got to go back here. I'm going to use probably right here. Oh, it's so hard. No, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go 2018 because that's really when we started our trend. Went up to here. Nah. I need to do it. I need to be as close to where we are right now. So let's call bottom here, top here, bottom here. Yeah, so you can see the support zone, you can see the resistance zone. We're breaking out, and I could probably draw this over a smaller time frame. Maybe I'll do it from here in order to be able to get that. We got a little less than a minute. I'll probably do that because I want the shorter term direction. I want to see where this thing ends in the next, couple of months. So let's just go to here. And then open this bitch up. All right, so maybe we get to 275 on gold first, and then we take a breather. Or even up to the 287 range, and then Bitcoin really takes off. HIMS is crazy. The short interest is blowing it up. Blowing it up. All right, so let's look here. Let's wait. We got a couple of seconds, it looks like. I'm going to refresh here. All right. What is going on? There we are. Oh, this thing refreshed with all the other countries in it. I hate that. All right, so let's see what we got. We got, I think we got export prices better than expected. I don't know. Worse than expected? Worse than expected. Export prices, month over month, 1.3%. So that's us sending stuff out. So we're charging a lot more than what we were thinking. So the previous was 0.5, forecast and consensus was 0.3. We're charging 1.3%, but import prices for the month were 0.3, which is actually 0.1 lower than consensus and at forecast. So for a change, we're charging more for our exports than we're paying coming in for imports. That's cool. Retail sales control group month over month, negative 0.8%. We got to look at that. I don't know that figure as well. Retail sales ex autos. So when you subtract autos, retail sales are negative 0.4%. So that's lower than expected. Let's look at the year over year for export and import. Export prices year over year 2.7% versus 2.3 forecast. Import prices only 1.9 versus 2.8 forecast. So this looks disinflationary, guys. This looks disinflationary. That's going to be interesting. Retail sales, ex autos and gas are negative 0.5%. So it looks like our inflation is lower and it looks like our retail sales are lower. To me, this looks like it increases our odds of, I don't have Bitcoin in the corner. I can fix that. Sometimes it breaks. I got to fix my OPS. Let me do this. We'll fix it. So to me, this actually looks like, this is going to increase odds over time that the Fed looks to lower rates. If we continue this kind of trend, this is a good one. But let's look at retail sales year over year here. It was expected at 3.7%. It's actually 3.9. So year over year numbers look good. So we're still up here. And again, this isn't X autos and gas. And so those are maybe your driving factors. But it doesn't look bad. So the retail sales year-over-year number looks okay. Let's see what our boy Rick has to say. And then, again, we can go through. And I just want to hear what he has for revisions. and then we can go through and look at some of those other retail sales charts and do some digging.
For most of the session, giving back a little bit.
This doesn't look bad to me, though.
Gains now
looks
down.
good.
They've improved, not 100 anymore, not triple digits anyway. On the Dow, Rick Santelli.
This looks good. I think today's an update.
At the CME.
I think we're going to have some breakouts today, guys, in indices and in different stocks.
To parse these numbers for us from beginning to end. Good morning, Rick.
Yes, from beginning to end. And once again, viewers, listeners, there's a lot of numbers. I'll go slow. Retail sales, by the way, has had 4 consecutive positive months in a row. Will it be 5? The answer is no. January retail sales comes in on the light side. Disappointment. We're expecting down just a smidge. Minus 0.9, minus 0.9. That'll be the biggest negative month-over-month change, going all the way below. It equals January of 24. You have to go to March of 23 to find a bigger negative month-over-month number. Now, these are advanced, which means in a couple weeks they may change. If you strip out autos, it improves marginally. It's still down 0.4. You strip out autos and gas, it's down 0.5.
Guess what we're going to be doing in the future, guys?
Really since
More rate
January
cuts
of last year. And finally, the core retail sales, or the control number, comes in down 0.8. That's real disappointment. We were expecting that to be positive. Now, there are revisions, and minus 0.8, just to put a face on it, that would be the weakest core retail sales since March of 20.
Sorry, my daughter and wife were leaving it, so I had to say Happy Valentine's Day.
3. Now, we have revisions on everything across the board I just gave you, and all the revisions are positive, so it'll take some of the sting away. Headline went from 0.4 to 0.7 positive, ex-autos from 0.4 to 0.7, ex-autos and gas from 0.3 to 0.5, and you saw the control number improve from 0.7 to 0.8, but we want to really watch these numbers and see if they change.
So retail sales may be looking a little weak, but with revisions not looking as bad. But again, I think the big thing that I'm getting from this, guys, the really big thing that I'm getting and that I'm loving right now, again, the retail sales number year over year, too, not breaking it down, just looked wonderful. But the big thing I'm getting is the export and import prices. This is the part I'm loving right here, guys. Because again, if we're exporting, if we're able to pay more or get more of a premium for our export prices, but the import prices that we're paying are getting lower, this is just the gravy train right here. And this is the kind of stuff that we're going to see more of with the Trump tariffs. But it's good. It's good that we're not seeing import prices climb a lot. That's wonderful, and we want our manufacturers to get paid for the stuff they sell. This is good stuff. I think the market's really going to love it today. Let's let Ricky finish up.
At all in the coming weeks when we get our final reads. Import-export prices, these are also for January. If you look at import prices on a month-over-month basis, up 0.3. If you strip out petroleum, it's up 0.1. If you look at import prices year over year, up 1.9%. And just to put a face on that as well, our last look was up 2.2%. So it is moderating to some extent. If you look at export prices month over month, this is a biggie. We're expecting 0.3. It is multiples of that, 4 times that, 1.3%. That would be the biggest export price increase going all the way back to, and this is going to be a ways on this one, 1.3 would take me to, dun, dun, dun. We're looking at May of 22. May of 22. So that is way back. Export prices being on the high side.
27%. That's good on him.
The index was a good portion of 24, and it has slipped a bit, obviously. And finally, the last category, export prices year over year. Well, expected 1.4. Once again, export prices zooming here, up 2.7. That would be the biggest export increase going back to all the way the end of 22, the end of 22. So much of that jives with some of the inflation data we've seen. A couple things to throw out there, Joe. Some of the retail sales may have been affected by things like weather and other issues, exogenous issues. The dollar index, by the way, is now 106 handle, meaning it's under 107. If my memory serves me right, we haven't closed under 107 in the dollar index since mid-December. So this could be a new low close for the dollar index for all of 2025 and, of course, a little bit beyond that. The other issue we want to point to is interest rates really fighting at some very key levels we may spend some time on. We're now down at 4.49, so we're below 4.5%. 449 would be down 4 on the day. It is now down a couple on the week, which is significant.
I saw
to
that,
monitor.
yeah, with Ray
The weekly
Dalio.
numbers are
That's
quite
funny.
important. And if
Finally
you look
giving
at
up on
a two-year
China.
note at 426, right now that would be down 3 basis points on the week. Any close under 4.5 in a 10, any close under 4 3/4 on a 30. I still
should
say
do
it's
that
probably
unlock.
going to be an event that's more rare as we move through the year. Back to you.
All right, Rick, we had a discussion with Greg Ip a little earlier, and a couple of things surprised me that he came up with it in that, what goes up must come down. Egg prices aren't going to stay up here. That could be, at least that
Everything's
small
coming
part of
down.
Things could come down. I don't know what happens with Russia and
Everything's
Ukraine, but
coming down.
if
Yeah, the
oil goes
war-
back
the
on the
war-
market, but, if there's some
Real quick, Joey. That's a really good point. Imagine what happens, guys. So first off, the Gaza Strip eliminated, Palestinians removed. These are things that are happening. There's just no fucking choice. This is what's happening. This is just what's happening. And so that is going to be just done and over, and it's not going to be happening again. You're going to see this Western view of immigration bad, because when you have people like in Germany murdering and running over babies and just normal people that are trying to enjoy their lives, and you're going to see the immigration flow start to slow down. You're going to see some economies and markets start to recover from this stuff. You're going to see the Russian-Ukraine war coming to an end, which will help a lot with trade and energy. And I'm sure there's some wicked energy deals that Trump is working on with Russia, saying, guys, if Europe doesn't want your energy, we'll take all of it. Believe me, this is happening. We want energy prices to plummet. When energy prices plummet, what's going to happen? Yeah, somebody said it. 10-year yields dropping, okay? So get ready to make a lot of money off of TLT. Get ready to see the markets go a lot higher as drill, baby, drill, and wars come to an end, and we focus on lowering base costs and inflation is rolling over. You're going to see everything starting to go up. This is the thing. If there's anything you remember 6 months from now, if you make a lot of money off of the investments we've been talking about, I want you to remember this. We got here by finding good investments and looking towards the future. Okay, looking towards what is going to happen in the world. If you understand what's happening in the world and you have good investments that are going to benefit from it, and you can see 6 months or a year out what the most likely scenarios are, you can get stupid rich. It's how I've done it. So I'm excited about TLT today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm there. I think inflation is going to roll over, and I think people are looking at our debts and they're like, my goodness, for the first time in a very long time, America is great again. Ignore political party. Just look with an unbiased lens at what is happening right now. Look at, you know what? We're going to jump into that. That's our segue. We got more data coming out, guys. We got more economic data coming out at 8:15. So we're going to have to segue again in about 35 minutes. And then we have more at 9 o'clock, just inventories. We'll be looking at all this. But this is a good segue because just in stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about Trump. I want to talk about tariffs. I want to talk about all this stuff. And if you're here, guys, please hit the like. If you're benefiting from this stuff, if you're learning things, please hit the like. Let's look at DOGE first, okay? So I just wanted to throw this out there. Remember when the narrative was, you can't cut defense spending? Does anybody doubt that we're going to do that now? Anybody? Maybe some morons. But does anybody doubt that we're going to be cutting the defense budget? Does anybody doubt that maybe we shouldn't be paying 30,000% on soap dispensary costs? Does anybody doubt this, that there's room to cut here? I don't think so. And I said in here, in comes Elon Musk, the man you shall not bet against. They're going to clean house here. They're cleaning house in the IRS. They're doing it in Medicaid and I'm sorry, what? What was that? DOGE uncovered $2.7 trillion in Medicaid and Medicare payments going overseas. That's 8% of our national debt. Who are these recipients? Are these kickbacks? We want answers. There is so much that we can fix in our government right now. You need to focus on that. You need to focus on the fact that our bonds are just going to get better and better and better by the day. You need to focus that we're not going to pay $52 million to the Associated Press to craft the reality that our government wants you to see. We're going to let you just see it. Elon Musk is planning on replacing the Department of Education officials and staffers with AI agents, per New York Times. Do you think that's not true? If you're riding around on a bicycle, going through a limestone mine, trying to find a manila folder so that you can put it on the elevator and go up and move it over to another place and hand it off to one of the other 700 people who get to hang out in your Willy Wonka fucking facility, you're going to lose your job. These days are over. They're over. And this is over. DOGE has already cut $1 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse in the Department of Education. They just started. Right here. Here's James O'Keefe. He got this policy advisor at the U.S. Treasury. Way too many people working there. Way too many people working at the Fed. To admit on camera that Treasury employees are defying Elon Musk's DOGE. Let's listen to this real quick. Well, actually, this is 11 minutes. We're not going to listen to it. He even says DOGE and Elon Musk, and I quote, risk to national security. So these people, you're going to prison. If you're going to do this, you're going to go to prison. And the people who don't go to prison are going to do the right thing, and they're going to help us lower these deficits and get rid of fraud and fix our economy. And it's going to be great. Elon Musk, leading Democrats, said there was no fraud in government payments. Maybe they're getting their cut. That's what they're afraid DOGE will discover. So this is the CEO of LexisNexis Special Services. Let's listen.
How much money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs each year?
Yeah, my number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
How much money do you calculate?
So literally, this guy is literally saying with just some basic things, it's $1 trillion a year. He's not even saying going in deep. He's not even saying automating systems. He's not saying putting in AI agents. He's not saying replacing people that don't need to have a job there with a macro. He's not saying any of that stuff. This is just basic entry-level stuff, and he's saying at federal, national, state levels, saving $1 trillion a year. What happens when we start to eliminate old banking systems? What happens when we eliminate all this manual crap across federal government? What happens when we start deregulating areas that should have been deregulated a long time ago, allowing companies to create greater efficiency, not just at public and private levels, but in our government? What happens, man? There is so much innovation and technology sitting in front of us. And when we're not paying, the HHS isn't paying $22.6 billion on migrants, covering their cars, their home loans, and their startup businesses, increasing inflation by increasing demand on things that shouldn't have it. What happens to inflation when these people disappear? And there's extra cars sitting on the market. There's extra homes sitting on the market. What happens with all of this? Inflation is going to drop hard, guys. It said Biden's Office of Refugee Resettlement funneled $10 billion in 2023 alone to nonprofits, incentivizing more illegal crossings. This has been a business. Ian said, breaking, DOGE officials have just entered the IRS building. That was yesterday. It's so wild that things are happening so quick. They're in almost every avenue of government right now. Again, the DOGE subcommittee just discovered the $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid overseas to people who should not have gotten them. Let's listen to this real quick. This has my favorite lady. This girl is so young.
Brian.
She's in her 20s. This is what meritocracy looks like. It's not that she's a white blonde woman. It's that she's brilliant and she's in her 20s and she's crushing it. Imagine what she's like in her 30s and 40s.
Yes. I want to go back to DOGE just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marjorie Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this room might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOGE is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us. Unfortunately, I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. Those are the things.
Elizabeth Warren.
That DOGE is working on every single day. And I would just remind everybody in this room, this is what President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering on a promise that 77 million people elected him to do. Brian.
I love it. Gemini Knight said exactly that she's a blonde is just a bonus. Hard. I like blondes too. Don't tell my wife she's a brunette. All right, keep going. Actually, I've told her that a million times. It's kind of a running gag. I like black girls too when I was younger, so she's not that either. But she is Spanish, so that kind of counts. I don't know. Probably not. Let's keep going. DOGE news. This is the Government Accountability Office building. They're supposed to do what DOGE does. I think this is in, this is in our government. They currently employ 3,275 people that do nothing. DOGE has just a few college kids. Isn't this amazing? My wife is blonde and I love it. Nice. Nice. All right. Department of Government Efficiency, again, February 12th. This was a whole 2 days ago. Oh, yeah, we already covered this one. So we're done with DOGE. We're done with this one. Let's jump over to Trump. We got a lot to talk about. U.S. economy, too. I said Trump is getting it all done. People will realize this eventually. So we had just some people that were in Russian prison yesterday as a favor, like a good faith measure. Putin had removed this person from a prison. This is another guy. This is one that was in Israel. He is not the one who got released and then found out his wife and daughters and entire family had been murdered. It's not that one. I don't like Grab because I don't like Southeast Asia right now, but I could be wrong. Follow Amit. He seems to care about it. But this guy right here spends his time thanking and praising Donald Trump because he saved his life. And Donald Trump is going to accomplish all of the things that he wants, or 95% of them. I think people need to be ready for that. I put the Russia-Ukraine war will be over very soon. Vladimir Putin is assembling a heavyweight team with decades of experience in high-stakes negotiations to face off against Donald Trump's representatives for a deal to end Russia-Ukraine war. We have all the power. We will end this war. It will be over. Panama, that's where my wife came from. These Panamanians are great, man. Wall Street apes. This destroys basically every Democratic fear-mongering narrative about Donald Trump's bill to abolish the Department of Education. How long is this? This is 6 minutes and 31 seconds, so I'll just summarize. The child nutrition program is not paid out by the Department of Education. It's the Department of Agriculture. Federal Pell Grants, federal family education loan programs, they don't go through the Department of Education. They go through the Treasury. All functions and programs of authorities of the Secretary of Education under the Individuals with Disability Act shall be transferred over to the Department of Health and Human Services. Each authority and program of the Office of the Indian Education and the Department of Education shall be transferred to the Interior. The 8 of Elementary and Secondary Education active in 1965 shall be transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services. The Health Education Assistance Program and the programs under the Education Science Reform Act of 2022 will also be moving over to the Department of the Treasury. The Education Science Reform Act of 2002 are programs that generate and apply education research to improve teaching, learning, and policies. They'll be transferred over to the Treasury. All these things that will still be alive and will still be moving forward in a different department. So these are all the things that liberal Democrats would like to fearmonger and make you think that if you're a teacher, you're going to lose everything you have if they remove the Department of Education. That is not the goal. The Department of Education elimination does require an act of Congress. Happy Friday, Jesse. Thank you, Anthony. Very kind of you. So this will be going away. And it does require 60 votes, I believe, but I still think it's going away. Oh, hey, guys, remember this bitch? Remember her? Remember her? So I think there's a good chance we get her deported. She did marry her brother so that she could get him to stay in the United States. Kind of fucked up. Pretty illegal. Also, she had been arrested a ton of times. I don't know. There's like so much with her. I don't know. Maybe there's something in here too. People do not like this lady. They do not like her. Yeah, she sucks though. She sucks, and I hope she gets deported because she's one of these people that just is not good for humanity, let alone this country. NYPD making arrests at anti-ICE protests in New York City. This comes just hours after Tom Homan met with the NYC Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams is not like, these dipshits in California. He's working with Trump. He knows he needs to. These protesters are all about to be deported. I agree. Bye-bye, bitches. Elon Musk, if any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, we do not live in a democracy. We're going to keep going forward. Malay, thanks to Elon, politicians and the media can be exposed. Thanks to the enormous and courageous work of Elon Musk and the role of X, information can now flow, politicians can be exposed, and also the media can be exposed. Yes, and it's happening. I was listening to Farzad, I think, again, in that interview that was done yesterday with Wolf Financial on the X, the younger guys. He was there with like Farzad and Sawyer Merritt, and I think Jeff Lutz was there, a whole Mars catalog. There were like a bunch of people there, and they were talking about this, how, and maybe that was a different one. I don't know. I watched a bunch while my car was driving me yesterday, but it was, they were talking about how Farzad and his channel and all these avenues, they are the media now. They are the media now. And I'm the media now. Everybody on X that is pushing out the truth to the rest of the world, and they're using us as a news source. The traditional media is dying. More people are coming to this. We're winning. It's beautiful. Christian said, as usual, Europeans are delusional. Just kick the Americans out of NATO, guys. We don't need them anyway. Oh, wait. Oh, nope. We do. We do need them. We do. Should we listen to Keir Starmer or should we listen to Trump? Which one? I'm going to say Trump. Yep. Probably need to listen to him. All right. Rapid response 47. Again, this is a part of the White House to combat misinformation, up to 662,000. Nice. America will no longer tolerate unfair trade practices. We are one of the most open economies in the world, yet our trade partners keep their markets closed to our exports. The examples are endless. The U.S. tariff on ethanol is a mere 2.5%, but Brazil charges the U.S. ethanol tariff of 18%. As a result, in 2024, the U.S. imported $200 million in ethanol from Brazil, while the U.S. exported only $52 million. That's gone. The U.S. average supplied most favored nation MFN tariff on agriculture goods is 5%, but India's average applied FMN tariff is 39%. I listened to Modi, that whole interview with him and Trump yesterday. That was really good. He's doing MIGA. Make India great again. So you can see where all this is going. India also charges 100% tariff on U.S. motorcycles like Harley Davidson's, right? While only charging 2.5% tariff on Indian motorcycles. This isn't fair. That's gone. The European Union can export all the shellfish it wants to America, yet the EU bans shellfish exports from our 48 states. As a result, in 2023, the U.S. imported $274 million in shellfish from the EU, but the U.S. exported only 38. That's done. The EU also imposes a 10% tariff on imported cars, yet the U.S. only imposes a 2.5%. That's done. The 2019 reported that across 132 countries, more than 600,000 product lines, U.S. exporters face higher tariffs than more than two-thirds of the time. President Trump's plan seeks to fix these imbalances and ensure fairness across the board. So again, when you think about reciprocal tariffs, these are not meant to be inflationary. They will not be inflationary. They will make it to where our companies can compete with the rest of the world. It is visionary. And it should have been done a long time ago. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Any of them could have done it a long time ago, and they didn't, because they thought we should allow the rest of the world to be succubus towards us because of whatever hate we should have towards ourselves, colonialism. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter, though. We're going to live in a world where trade is free. And if you don't like that, we're not buying your fucking goods. Sorry, my bad. I was so good for a while. Anyway, moving on. Crypto Rover. Breaking. New Trump tariffs expected to hit developing countries the hardest. I showed you that yesterday. George, all 13 Canadian premiers just left the White House after a meeting begging White House officials to drop tariffs. Again, they're talking tough. 100% tariffs on Tesla, guys. We're gonna crush the United States. What did Trump say to it? Here's what Trump said to it. Let's listen.
So I think Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state.
I love him.
A delay in implementing those tariffs.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau.
Governor Trudeau.
On numerous occasions, and we'll see what happens. But it just sets up so good for them. Look, the people would pay much less tax than they're paying right now. They'd have perfect military protection.
Dude, we'll
They
take
don't
you,
have any
Pursuit.
military protection because and you take a look at what's going on.
So, guys, there's something else you need to know. And again, I got this from this particular conversation was from here with Lee's Real Talk. And so she was talking. She's brilliant. She's such a smart person. She was talking about why do we want Greenland? Do you guys know why we want Greenland? Do you guys know why we want Canada? Tell me in chat, guys. Why do we want them? Tell me in chat. I want to hear it. I want to see if you guys know why we want Greenland and Canada. Doesn't matter. We'll just make them a territory. Keep going. Why do we want them? Oil? No. Resources? No. I mean, those are all benefits, and those are great, and we need them. Security. Military security. Okay, let's stop right there. All right, so do you know that in a nuclear war, do you know the easiest way to drop nukes on the United States? From the Arctic. Because we don't have defensible territory in the Arctic. It's not like there's ships there waiting, right? We've got submarines, we got weapon systems in other countries all around the world. We got ships, we got all this stuff, right? But we don't have anything in the Arctic to defend ourselves. So if you're going to send nukes, you're going to send them over the Arctic and drop them down from the north. That's why. That's why we want it. Hypersonic missiles are a joke. It's just like BYD and their eye of God. It's not real. I mean, it's real, but fuck, it's a mess. You don't even know what you might hit a different country. That's how bad hypersonic missiles are right now. But we're least defensible from the north, and there's tons of resources there. That's why we're going to do it. And Canada will be the 51st state, or we'll have some type of military agreement and much more open relationship with us. I think they'll end up being a territory. I don't know how long that takes. I do think we're going to buy Greenland, and we're going to do it really quickly. That's what's going to happen. We have to have a defensible zone. Rare minerals are a huge part of it. But we don't even know the full amount of rare minerals in Greenland. We don't even know. But yes, Canada is rich in resource. Greenland is rich in resource. But the main thing is Russia and China are militarizing the Arctic. Russia has icebreakers and submarines that go under the water and then can launch nukes from the Arctic towards the United States. It's our least defensible zone. So there you go. There's probably a bit of education that you didn't know before, okay? Canada is currently 10 states and 3 territories, so it would be the 51st territory. I don't know. Maybe we keep it split up. That's probably better. Keep them from having too much control. I like it. But again, it would be something where it would be a territory and they wouldn't have strong voting rights. They just wouldn't. You earn those. Nice pop in ARKG. Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of pop today, guys. A lot of pop today. TLT up 0.76%. Tesla still up 1.7%. ARKG up 2.3%. Looking to break out. It's all good. Maritime routes, another good reason. There's a lot of reasons, guys. I know it sounds crazy that Trump is like, we should have Canada. We should have Greenland. But it's not. And maybe we'll just take it piece by piece. We'll take the conservative areas first. And then we'll go from there. We don't need all of Canada. We can let California and all the libs in Canada all hang out together. You guys can have that shit. I'm kidding. You're not going to, but we ain't giving it away. Too high of a GDP. Anyway. All right. So let's keep going. Got a lot to get through today. It's 8:01. We've got a few more minutes before we get to the rest. Let's keep going. Said make it rain tariffs. Just in, President Trump says today is the big one, reciprocal tariffs. So I said this, and then somebody, I don't remember, Richie Ray says, isn't this bad for TLT? No, it's not, because even though I said, make it rain tariffs. And he said, we're going to do reciprocal tariffs. Again, it's the exact opposite of that, man. So hopefully you're watching. Hopefully, Richie, you're watching my videos and you understand that what he's actually doing is opening up trade for us and that it's not going to do anything to affect inflation and that's going to be fine for TLT. Hopefully you get that, man. Sean, so happy you've come around to liking Trump. Yeah, I mean, it started a while ago. Not going to lie. I did do a 9.5-hour broadcast on election night saying that he was going to win everything. So it's been a while. Victor Nito, U.S.-Canada need to form an economic union similar to the EU under common currency. It'll just be our currency and we'll be the boss. But you're right. We could do something like that, but it'll just be us running it. That's the way it works. We have all the power. Sean, otherwise go to the EU. You guys can be a part of NATO. They can take care of you and defend you. Helicopter. It could be classic Trump negotiation where he just secures permanent military bases. Worst case scenario, we'll have permanent military bases. In Greenland, we're getting Greenland. We're getting Greenland. We're getting it. And Panama, if we had to, we would take Panama with force. We would. And I say that as somebody whose mother-in-law is there right now. I say that as somebody who's married to a woman who is from Panama. But we would take Panama with force because they're roughly 10% of the population right now is Chinese. They're trying to take it over, and we can't allow that. It's easier to buy out Greenland because you only have like 65,000 or whatever people. You guys tell me, chat, tell me what we got there. Yeah, Ireland. We'll just take it all. Let's take all of Europe. We can do a better job than Keir Starmer. Okay? We need Central America. Sure, let's just go for, honestly, I think North America, Central, and South America. It's called America. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Let's just take it all. I'm kidding. But we've got great friends in South America, right? Like we got Bukele, we've got Javier Milei, and we have a growing list of people that are looking to take over in the South, I think, and it's going to be a great thing. Elias said, January 6th defendant turning myself into the U.S. Marshals. I have been pardoned, but the judge doesn't care and wants me in prison. Please to God, share this. Oh, wait, no, we got a correction. Good. Was pardoned on January 6th, were dismissed, but was sentenced separately to 24 months in prison, followed by 2 years supervised release after pleading guilty possession of firearms and ammunition. Oh, okay, so this guy deserved it. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to say goodbye to you. That's why I love community notes. You find out the truth. Let's see. Was this community noted? Nope, this wasn't. All right, we got California. This is 2 days ago to spend $500 million to destroy a dam that supplies water to 600,000 people in a fire-prone region. That sounds like Gavin Newsom, doesn't it? That's right. Gavin Newsom is making sure that it's less water in the state that's short on water. You can read the whole thing. It's ridiculous. All right, that's enough of that. We're done. Robert F. Kennedy. I love it. I just love it. There's so much winning. Are we going to get Patel, guys? What do you guys think? Are we going to get Cash Patel? You guys tell me. You guys tell me. I'm going to start a poll. Does Cash Patel get confirmed? All right. I didn't do a caps. You guys tell me. U.S. economy. Let's get to it. We got 10 minutes until we get more economic data. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Praying yes, go RFK. Dude, we got Tulsi Gabbard and RFK. We got everybody, guys. Do you realize that? And again, this is not a bearish pattern. I'm going to side with Caleb on this one. This is not a bearish pattern. Not at all. Good morning, Darius Dale. I love Darius. I subscribe to his service, but it's really boomer. It's like better than the federal government's limestone mine, but I don't love it. So I just couldn't stick with it. But I do think he's smart and an interesting person. Cash better get confirmed. I think he's going to tear shit up. But Darius Dale said, good morning and God bless Team 42. Today's key macro questions. Will reciprocal tariffs clear the way for new highs in risk assets? Yes. Likely after a Mar-a-Lago Accord note yesterday, the U.S. dollar index DXY staged a sharp intraday reversal. Mar-a-Lago Accord, where have we heard somebody talking about that? That contributed to its largest decline in 3 weeks. The DXY is now down negative 3% from its 52-week high on January 13th. Why is the U.S. dollar declining despite yet another executive order on tariffs? To start, we believe the reciprocal tariff strategy that President Trump has chosen is less likely to be viewed as unfair trade policy by the U.S. trading partners. The U.S. retaining its ability to communicate, hey, we are not doing anything that you are not doing to us. This is equal opportunity. Isn't that great? Doesn't everybody want equal opportunity? I think that's wonderful. It increases the odds that we see tariff rates mutually lowered in some cases, lower in a lot of cases, guys, because these guys want to still be able to sell to the largest market on earth. Lower tariff rates represent less upside risk for the U.S. dollar because it reduces pressure for the U.S. trading partners to devalue their currencies to maintain competitiveness in response to fresh tariffs. This is a really key part. Let me read it again. Lower tariff rates represent less upside risk for the U.S. dollar. So the U.S. dollar can roll over because it reduces pressure for the U.S. trading partners to devalue their currencies to maintain competitiveness in response to fresh tariffs. So it's going to force them to remove tariffs to where we don't see a stronger U.S. dollar. Yay. Nobody's talking about that. Secondly, President Trump's reciprocal tariff strategy also reduces the odds of key trading partners like China and the EU pursuing a strategy of offsetting currency devaluation. So China's been doing this forever. They can't do it anymore. Put differently, a country devaluing its currency to offset well-branded reciprocal tariffs would clearly signal its intent to maintain the old world order of unfair trading practices that benefits its industries at the expense of American workers. In signing the U.S. executive order for reciprocal tariffs, President Trump promised many things to the American public, most notably more jobs and lower prices. We can debate whether there is enough labor supply in the U.S. to support an influx. Maybe robots can help. Or whether manufacturing costs in the U.S. are low enough to be able to economically be viable, even with reciprocal tariffs in place. There'll be enough to grow. What we're trying to do is grow the industry. It doesn't need to immediately explode overnight. The tariffs are just a weapon to let people know, hey, guys, we're the ones with our nuts sitting on your head. We're it. We're that meme, okay? That's the U.S. And we will mess you up. We will mess you up. And so don't mess with us because we're crazy. And President Trump is the crazy man. And Elon Musk is the voice of reason that is the shield that protects him. Says we can also, along with all these brilliant people that he's been throwing out there. So we got 97% on Kash Patel. Wow. You guys are optimistic. I love it. I think we're learning 123 votes. I'll take it. Says we can also debate whether the advent of new trade frictions will lead to lower prices after all. Not every country will be incentivized to negotiate every pre-existing tariff to 0% to avoid reciprocal tariffs. On a net basis, you have tariff barriers will most assuredly rise after the April 1st deadline for the Commerce Department's study on trade and currency manipulation. What we cannot debate, and so again, that's on April 1st. What we cannot debate is the impact of President Trump's clever reciprocal tariff strategy is already having on asset markets. In yesterday's Mar-a-Lago Accord note, let's read this. All told, there is an undeniable broad-based down dollar trade going on that is being funded by rotational flows from U.S. stocks in the crypto market. So that's partially true. Right now, people have been jumping into Europe and they've been jumping into China. That is exactly what you would not expect amid President Trump's America First policy reform and his promise to make the USA and the crypto capital of the planet, according to his recent executive order. Could President Trump be using his chaotic tariff threats as leverage to force key trading partners and economic rivals alike to negotiate a version of a Plaza Accord? Isn't it funny that people are starting to talk about a new Plaza Accord? I feel like somebody was talking about that recently. We cannot rule out a globally coordinated decline in the U.S. dollar given President Trump's desire to eliminate U.S. trade imbalances by reshoring manufacturing and eliminating U.S. reliance on foreign adversaries for strategically important goods. Oh, it's all coming together. And this isn't even all of it, guys. We got a lot of levers we can pull. Again, defense bonds, all kinds of stuff. Global equities and precious metals suggest that you should add a potential Mar-a-Lago Accord to your 2025 bingo card. While reciprocal tariffs reduce the probability of a strong U.S. dollar and eventual Mar-a-Lago Accord, they do clear the way for the U.S. dollar to continue its nascent descent. Have we seen a peak in the dollar? Perhaps, especially if we are right in participation of a $500 billion reduction in the Treasury General account balance in the coming months. So we will most likely, guys, in middle of March, have a government shutdown. If we have a government shutdown, what we're going to have is we're going to have special measures put in place, extraordinary measures, I think they call it. And we will bleed down the Treasury General account, which acts like liquidity. So you're probably going to hear all this, oh my God, guys, we got a government shutdown coming in 3 weeks. Or I guess it's 4 weeks from now. We got a government shutdown. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. But it will actually be a liquidity creating event. They probably won't tell you that because they don't know. Because they never take any fucking time, sorry again, to understand what is going on in the world and why things are happening. A declining dollar is an explicitly, so again, this is bullish, this is liquidity. A declining dollar is an explicitly bullish dynamic for global liquidity. Our global liquidity monitor is already projecting a modest increase in global liquidity over the medium term. A fresh bearish trend in the US dollar would amplify that projection, turning a modest increase in global liquidity into a significant one that reduces the probability of global refinancing air pocket this summer. We shall see. So what he's telling you is, come Q3, we might actually be able to refinance our debts. If you found this note helpful, please like and repost. Can you guys like and repost this? I'll do this again. I will go in here and I will undo this and I will repost it. Darius Dale might have the most boomer trash site as far as trying to look at stuff. Sorry, Darius. But he is a brilliant mind and one that you should listen to. And there's not a lot of football players. There's not a lot of former football players that haven't had their heads smashed in to the point to where they can actually articulate and even comprehend this stuff. So give this man some credit, please. He is brilliant. All right, let's keep going here. So we got about a minute, and then we'll be getting more data. I think, Chicken Genius. I can't get through all this. So Chicken Genius, don't listen to him on Rivian. Don't listen to any negativity that he has about Tesla. I mean, you can listen to it, but just weigh it lower. But he's a brilliant guy, and I really like Chicken Genius. He's got a lot of crap for a while because he was wrong about some things. But I've had people do that with me too. There's a lot of fair weather people that will give you credit when you're doing really, really well. But since I only had a 53% return, and some people were very confident about Palantir or some other things, evidently they're much better investors than I am now. I think over time they'll find out that not to be true. Some people will be great, and they'll continue to be great. But I think a lot of other people will figure out that I'm actually pretty great at this. And that's just not me being arrogant. It's because I put a lot of work into it, and I put more in than they do on understanding reality. So Chicken Genius, he's great in regard to his macro view of the world. He's really great at that. And he digs in and he understands stuff. He's going to be talking about the widening swap spread, the Treasury General account drawdown that we were just talking about with Darius Dale, the discount window, end of QT, and permanent SLR exemption. So we'll be looking at that briefly after we get done looking at the next set of economic data that is coming out. And now, let's refresh. People just focus on one negative and forget about 99 good times. Don't let the noise kill your motivation, you rock. Yeah, I don't. I've gotten pretty over it. When you know your own worth, you don't need other people to validate it for you. Industrial production. All right, so industrial production, let's just look here. See what we got. So industrial production, let's start up. Industrial production month over month, 0.5%. It's coming in good, very strong. Capacity utilization, 77.8%, higher than consensus and forecast, just barely, but good. Industrial production year over year, 2% versus 0.9, beautiful. Manufacturing production, 1% versus 0.8, previous 0, beautiful. All good data. It's all good. All of it's good. Let's look at the capacity utilization here and see how we're doing. Cue the tear wiping with dollar bills. Yes, I'll do that. I can do that all day. If we go to the 10-year, so this is capacity utilization, you can see how there was a trend downward. I would argue that this will be our trend up and that capacity utilization will increase. And this is a good thing. This is like productivity. You're going to see this helps margins. This is good for all kinds of stuff. And again, we had great earnings. We're just going to see it getting better and better and better. Let's look at industrial production year over year. Hey, Jesse, I'm holding CleanSpark, Mara, and MicroStrategy stock. Is any of them better than the other? It's hard to say, dude. They all have, again, Mara, biggest Bitcoin holder for mining stocks. And they're willing to do some a pseudo MicroStrategy approach along with buying Bitcoin at strategic times, and then they just happen to be a miner, happen to have the biggest hash rate of any miner on Earth. So they've got a benefit, right? Then we also, and this we got to look at this number in a second. Then we have MicroStrategy that has the largest stockpile of Bitcoin of anybody on Earth that isn't dead, like Satoshi Nakamoto. And then we have CleanSpark, which is the best pure miner play, mining at like 30,000 plus Bitcoin, or 30,000 per Bitcoin, which is great. So, but let's look at this, guys. Industrial production ticked up massively. It is at the highest number since, what is that, October of 2022. Since October of 2022. So 2023, 2024, we're at a 27-month high. 27-month high in industrial production. Does anybody think that's interesting? I do. I'm just going to throw out that I do. We're going to listen to Rick Santelli in a second here, and then again we'll get back to Chicken Genius because we got some stuff to learn there. But I got to put a line in the sand here real quick on just how great this is, because I think people need to understand that we just had the best number for industrial production in 27 months. So we'll just do a super quick post. Thank you for your patience. All right, moving on. Let's get back to it. So I like that. I don't hate it. Jesse, I believe that the cash vote is scheduled for Tuesday. Expected to have him confirmed around 6. Yeah, you're probably right. I think they pushed it out to next week. You're right. Jim and I had a feud on X with North Star Charts about the DXY. I told him he was wrong with his milkshake theory and that the DXY will roll over months ago. He told me I am wrong. So the dollar milkshake theory guys, I love them. They were right for a very strong period, a very long period of time. You know what I find though? I find that a lot of people, they get caught up in their own narratives and they wrote a book or they wrote a bunch of articles about something like the dollar milkshake theory. And then it's like, oh, this is the only path it can go. Like if you're Peter Schiff, it's all about gold and Bitcoin sucks, right? If you're Ray Dalio, it's all about the fourth turning and the fact that China is going to rule the world. But maybe he's changing his bet on that because now he's buying Tesla. But And then if you're the dollar shit milkshake theory guy, it's always it's that the dollar will absorb all these other markets. And then if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, it's the entire world is going to fall apart and everybody's going to be doing Bitcoin. These guys they live off these narratives and they refuse to change with new news. And I think that anchoring, I think that is kind of ridiculous. And you shouldn't be that way. You should always be adaptable. I try to be. I try to predict the future, but if I find out that I'm wrong, I will adjust. It's the way you should be. Stevie G, hey Jesse, just out of interest, I asked Grok about your idea on Hal Finn being Satoshi, and it came up with some good arguments against it. Yeah, it's not Nick. I've done all this research. I will do it again when Grok 3 comes out. It's not Nick Szabo. It's not. But when Grok 3 comes out, run it again. Let me know what it says. Maybe it'll get better. Unlike real estate, as Tesla is on a green track and upwards, do you think we will keep this trend, or is there still chances that it will go back to 240? There's always stuff that can happen. If we go to war with China, it's probably going to go back to 240. I don't think that's the most probable outcome. But again, we could reject. We're at a point where we could reject. Maybe there's specific tariffs that are put against Tesla. Everybody thinks that there's no way that that China will do anything aggressive towards Tesla. Maybe Canada does put 100% tariffs on Tesla. Maybe there's weird things that can happen that you can never discount. But I think genuinely that we're on an uptrend, and I think no matter what, 6 months from now, it won't matter. That's what I think. And that's why I have leaps that go out a year and a half, because if we're going to be a lot higher 6 months to a year from now, then it doesn't matter. That's probably a key thing to think of. Manufacturing production year over year. TLT's up almost 1% today, guys. Who likes making money off their hedge? All right. United States manufacturing production. Manufacturing production in the United States increased 1% in January of 2025 over the same period in the previous year. Okay, whatever. Big number. How big is it? Is it one of the best in 3 years? 1%? Oh, we got a 1.1 in December 2023 and in 2023. So if we can get above 1.1%, then we're looking at, where is that? Here, October of 2022. So we can get another 27-month number here if we can get above 1.1%. So this is interesting too. So I'm just going to put this out there. If we tick up another 0.2%, if we tick up another 0.2%, then we'll have the best number since October 2022. 27 months ago. I love it. I'm just going to attach this to my other post here. Let me just get this out there too. Gotta get them out. This is too close, too good. Tesla bottom at 315. I think that's really possible. Tesla, the weekly candle now is a dragonfly hammer. Yeah. All right. So it's also notable that let me paste this in here. Manufacturing production data is only 0.2% away from a 27-month high, just like industrial production. Thank you, real Donald Trump. God, I love this man. I used to hate him. Hated the man a year ago. Orange man made me mad. Today, not so much. Oh, hey, if you guys could too. Let me just go down here. I gotta find this and like it and raise it to the top because otherwise nobody watches my video. If you guys could like this, that would be great. I'm trying to grow the audience. We did get over 20,000 YouTubers, man. That was cool. I dug that a lot. But again, if you guys comment, like, share, just let people know that I'm pretty awesome at what I do and that I have some foresight that could be valuable to them. If you believe it. If you don't, that's fine. Fuck off. Don't watch my channel. But Trump coin over 20 now, up 23% on the day. If only somebody could have told us that this thing has moon power. If only somebody. But there was nobody. There's nobody. I'm almost in the money, which is crazy because I originally bought over here. No. I originally bought up here. like a dipshit. And so I think when we get right up to around here, I'm in the money. Right up here. That's cool. All right. Didn't like Trump a year ago? Yeah, I was an idiot. Well, actually, no, I can't say that. It's probably closer to, I started to slowly, but you got to realize I've had years of indoctrination of hating Trump, right? And I started to slowly think about the truth and start to get the truth after X. After Elon bought X and I read the Twitter files. And then I just kept learning more and more and more. And then I learned that, I was manipulated by mainstream media. And then I learned that everything I thought about him was from 10-second clips and that I was being an idiot. And I've never, I listen to mainstream media just so I know what the narratives are now. But X is the source of truth for everybody on this earth. They'll figure that out eventually. So I mean, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong in the past as long as you learn to correct that, right? And I truly believed, like a lot of people, that January 6th was all about Trump. I didn't realize that Nancy Pelosi had literally turned down the National Guard and that they had feds there trying to encourage riots so that they could ensure that everybody loved Biden. And that everybody hated Trump and all the January 6ers. I wish I would have understood the truth back then, but I did not. It is what it is. You voted for Trump 3 times. Good job, Sean. Good job, man. Lewis, with Trump in power, the number will go up even more. Yes, sir, I agree. Let's go back. So we do have more data coming out. We got the market opening in 3.5 minutes, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's just see if they're talking about anything. Oh, you know what? And actually, I need to look at some stuff here. So we got January import prices. Let me go to live here. I don't know if I got Rick Santelli's. I don't know if I got his latest on the latest data. We can go back and look at it later. Let me get caught up with chat. Love Trump. I do too, which is weird because I hated him. It's just strange. It's important to get as many friends as you can on X. Only way to get some truth. I agree. I've got friends that are on X, but they still don't look for the truth. So, I mean, there's that too. Meraki, Jesse, can you shed some light on the Twitter purchase? Did Elon, in fact, try to get out of the sale? Yes, totally. He talked about buying it, then he wanted to buy it, then he realized that there were bots everywhere and that it wasn't worth the price. Then the Democrats forced him to buy it. And it destroyed them. What is the irony in that? What is the irony in the fact that the Democrats forced him to buy X, which would be their ultimate downfall? I love it. It's fucking poetry. Sorry. Apologize to your kid, man. Here's the thing. Just tell your kid that I'm a great person and not to talk like me. People, including myself, were laughing when he coined the term fake news. I know. I thought he was an idiot. And now I think he's a genius. Appreciate your explanation. Hope others, including my daughter, will open her eyes. I hope so too, man. I think over time, I think all you can do with your daughter, Nubby, is to love them and just reiterate to them that you love them and that even though you have a difference in opinion, that you love them and that you're willing to listen to their side of the story if they're willing to listen to yours. And tell them that you're a good person. I think that's all you can do. And then you can pray. Silas said Trump is a much more sensible seeming if you watch longer format conversation. Well, and he's much better. He was very defensive and angry before.
We think
he's not that way anymore.
Ultimately be coming down because of things that happen.
He's so relaxed. I mean, any of you guys, even if you've been a Trumper your whole life, whatever, like since he came into power, even if you've been a Trumper since he came into power, you have to admit one thing. He is so relaxed and confident now. More confident, not like coming off as cocky, but just straight up confident. And he's crushing it, and he knows that, right? Yeah, sorry, Ethio.
Go hand in hand with the tariffs, but we think that the prices for some things.
Oh, he's so happy now.
Go down.
He knows he's going to win. He thinks he's appointed by God to save America. That's a great incentive plan.
The sense that the tariffs bring about a price shock. Specific details of how it flows through, and they just assume and rightly.
I'll talk more about that in a second.
Right. There's cost in here.
Almost dying changed him. I 100% agree, and I think it's in a wonderful way.
It's the way
I want to talk about it.
Increase might get diffused throughout, so you get the frictional costs up front, whatever potential benefits in trade balance or domestic manufacturing is maybe to come after that. So I think that's the issue.
I mean, they are dragging him down all the time, but it doesn't matter anymore. There's a lot going on. I want to talk about it. Let's wait for the bell. We'll pull up the stocks. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to kill the noise over here. Going to kill the noise over here. Going to go over and pull up some stocks because I do think we need to look at them real quick. Let me go over here. Click on this. So I want to speak to Trump though. Okay, since Trump coins the winner today, let's talk about it. Okay. So I think a couple of things happened with Trump, and I just want to go over it. One, he almost died. And that has changed him. It'll change anybody. Anybody who's had a near-death experience or actually had to spend some time thinking about their mortality can speak to this. It changes you when you start to realize how just mortal you are. And more importantly than that, he has a team behind him that's brilliant and that will help him accomplish his goals. And for 40 years, 50 years probably, this man has thought that we need to be a stronger nation. We need to not have other countries take advantage of us. We need to lead through strength. We need to, his entire vision of what he's wanted to accomplish his entire life is at the doorstep, and he is there. And he literally has said this. He thinks, yeah, Palantir's up 2%. I don't think that's going to last. We're definitely the banana zone. Who knows how high it goes, but yeah, it's not going to last. It's definitely one of those things where don't try and eke out the last 100%. But I think Trump, he literally thinks he's appointed by God to save America, because his vision and everything he's wanted to accomplish is perfectly lined up right now, and he could have died and he didn't. So when think about the incentive that creates. You have a man that doesn't care about just himself anymore. He thinks he has to save us and to save the world, and that he's appointed by God to do so. You will never find a stronger incentive than somebody thinking that they are put on this earth to do something. So I believe very strongly CLS calls are up 30%. ARKG is up 15%. Huh? Maybe CleanSpark won't be totally painful. But you won't find anybody. Yeah, whether you think Trump is an angel sent by God or not, it doesn't matter. He thinks he is. And that is an incentive like no other. He will not be stopped. He will not relent. And now he has an army of the richest person on earth and the most powerful people in this country and on this planet standing beside him and behind him. So don't bet against America. Don't bet against Trump. Don't bet against Elon Musk. And don't bet against anybody who works with us, because we will all win. And show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. His incentive is God put him on this earth to save humanity. The outcome's probably going to be pretty good. Your CleanSpark calls are not up 30%. It's probably because you use Ally or something else and they haven't updated. And it's not, he's talking about the day, just to be clear, if that's not clear, Alex, or if you're just joking in some way. Do you think Elon could become the next president? No. JD Vance. No, Elon can't be the president. He wasn't born here. Anthony Yeo, leveraging on Elon is masterstroke. Yeah, well, not just Elon, everybody. Robert F. Kennedy, Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat. Trump was a Democrat. And Kash Patel, brilliant. Pam Bondi, brilliant. Homan, brilliant. Governor Noem working on everything that's going on and callbacks, and like everybody is getting it done. Everybody is getting it done. CRISPR's up 11%. Guys, could genomics be a thing? Have you guys ever heard about this thing called genomics? Have you guys ever heard about gene editing? I hear it's this new big thing, and it's only got $1 billion market cap for an entire portfolio of genomic-related companies. Yeah, that's not even worth my time, that statement. C-List, Trump is having more fun too? Yes, he is. Yeah, JD Vance is the next president. It's very clear. Kyle Wright, yeah, no CleanSpark is flat on Fidelity. They're usually into delay. Yeah, Ally, Fidelity, all those things are delayed. Some people actually have options that show them right away how much they're up. You will not find that on a lot of the boomer ones. RX is moving. ALSY, crazy. ARKG is it. ARKG. Has anybody been talking about ARK? Do you guys remember this company or this ETF called ARKG? Has anybody heard of it? Have you guys heard of a company called ARKG? It's not a company, actually, but it's a great investment. Dario, Jesse, if you have time, could you do a Fibonacci analysis on Tesla to identify the bottom? You're really great. I already did. We hit it. I already posted today on Tesla. Let me just hop over to it real quick. So I already said, I didn't even do subs. I did everybody because I wanted all the people to know. And this is a fib retracement. I didn't actually redraw this. I have now, but I said, hey, this is probably the bottom. We had our trade zone over here. We hit it. We bounced up above the 100 moving average, and we got above our downward trend line. And we're establishing, what are we at right now for Tesla? We're at the 358, 360 range. So we're sitting around here right at peak volumes. And I said we have a pretty good run up until we hit peak volumes around 369. We really start to hit some resistance in the 390 to 400-ish range. Or I'm sorry, yeah, the 400 range around the 50 moving average, but really it starts down here, so I probably should have said like 390 to 400. And then the next one is the previous all-time high. And I'll throw out a Fibonacci extension here in the not-too-distant future. Who's your daddy? I am. Luke Hart, are you still able to do a chart on analysis on MicroStrategy? Love your stuff. Yeah, we could, but I mean, really just focus on the underlying. Focus on Bitcoin. And you can see Bitcoin in the bottom left, right? It's at 97. It looks like it's going to bounce. Here's the thing, though. If MicroStrategy and the miners, CleanSpark up 1.4%, Mara up 1.4%, MicroStrategy up 0.79%. If these are leading Bitcoin, it's a really good sign that we've bottomed. And if their options contracts are leading the underlying, it's a really good sign that we've bottomed. And we'll be looking more. I think AMD is a good one, man. I think AMD could go up a lot. ARCD is the daddy fund. I don't know what that is. Anthony Yeo, MSTR, MNAV, pretty low now. Oh, yeah, totally. I haven't even looked at that in a while. Let's pull it up. MSTR, not strategy, even though I should pull that up. I should put that on here, too. Do they have their MNAV? MNAV, 1.98. Oh, okay, so they have it. So it's about 2%, actually. It's going up. That's actually a good sign. It was in the 1.7, 1.8. So the fact that it's going to 2 before Bitcoin bounces is a sign that a lot of these undersold things are starting to run, and the risk on is leading first, and then the underlying will come with it, and then it'll push risk on even more. Can you suggest the best leap to buy for AMD? I don't know what the multiplier is. Here, we can take a look. Yeah, we'll take a look real quick. And I know some people wanted to do that with like Tesla too. We could probably do that, but let's just look super fast. AMD is a good investment, I think. I was actually thinking about getting some leaps. Probably won't. But again, we overshot our downward trend, this descending wedge. And then we broke above it stupid quick. And that's also where peak volumes are across the entirety of this chart going back years and years and years. So that's great. And we're sitting right here. And once we get up to here at the 120s, it's going to be very clear that we're going to at least the 139, 140 range. I would say this. I would say that there's a strong possibility that we get to a new all-time high in AMD. But what I would do is I'd probably keep the target lower. So maybe like a 170-ish, 160, or maybe this fib right here at the 160. So that we've got a range of like 160 to 150 that I'm thinking about in my head for strikes, right? So next, we run over to the NASDAQ chart over here. We go to the options chain. This one is for Tesla. We don't want Tesla, so we go up here and put an AMD. We click on that. We go back down here. We go to the option chain. Again, this is just NASDAQ.com. And then we switch this to all moneyness, and then we look out a ways because we want to give this time to play out. So 2 years are usually pretty good, so let's do a 2-year. We're looking for open interest the most. There doesn't appear to be a lot of volume here. There's a lot of open interest around 200. There's open interest around 150. This just means that we're going to have liquidity when we want to exit, which is a smart thing. So I'm probably going to say the 150 strike is interesting to me. Or if we're getting crazy and we want to be a little more risk on and we think that we're going to go really far with AMD, then maybe we go to that 200. Where does 200 get us? 200 gets us up right up around here. I'd say in 2 years, it'll be pretty unlikely that we haven't hit a 200 as long as this company has done a good job. So maybe we'll pick that. We'll just do that. We'll go over here to the option profit calculator. We'll pump it in. We'll look over here. We'll go to the January 2027s. We'll pick the 200. I'll do it closer to the numbers I like to look at. So let me do a starter pack or something. I'll say I'm putting $100,000 into it. And then what we need to look at is how much higher we can go. Right now, this is a trend-based. Here, let me get rid of this. So this is just a fib reversal pattern. Fib retracement, sorry. And so what we'll do is we'll change that. So we'll go over here. We'll probably start with, let's see, that's 2023. I'm going to go lower. I think this is where the most signal is. And this is something you kind of learn over time. I got to redraw that up there. I'm just trying to get in place because I can't get quite up there. And so... So I think it's pretty easy that we'll get up to at least here. And so the 256 range, or even like again in the future, there's going to be a line. This line will extend out. This line will extend out probably even further. Oh, don't want that. Close out of that. Nope, cancel. Don't want to kill anything. And so again, this trend line right here, we'll just kind of use that as a top signal too. but we'll say that there's a pretty good chance that it goes to 256 to by that time, like the 300 range. Let's just say that, right? Or 328. So let's look and see what it can do. So we'll put a 328 in here. And we'll look, right? So if it doesn't, so within 2 years, if we get above 200, we're good. There is a decent curve here, so it's a little steep, but let's just see if we hit the previous all-time high, what does it do for us if that happens within 2 years? That is 226. So I think there's a decent chance that can happen. We can look at some of the fundamentals, but let's just look at the actual numbers. So what we're looking at here, if we get to the previous all-time high by like April of next year, we're looking at a 339% versus 100% move. So we're getting about a 3x. This is about my minimum for what I'd like. I think Trump will stop trolling Canada once Trudeau is exited. I think he actually wants Canada. I think we're going to get part of Canada, or at least, again, have a military base far up into the Canadian tundra. Tundra? No. Canadian North. But so this is the minimum of what I'd like. But if we go up much higher, like let's say we get up towards the peak of that trend line, which again is making a lot of assumptions, right? Then we're looking at maybe a 5x potential, 6x potential. So we'll say roughly that we have a 3 to 6x. It's okay. It's not my favorite. Again, I got 11x. I got 5 to 11x for TLT. So a 3 to 6 is a little bit weaker. But you could do something like this, and if you think that we're going to get at least to the previous all-time high, you can make 300% off a 100% move. I prefer ARKG and TLT over this right now. That's my thought process. Hopefully that gives you some guidance on what you can do to kind of figure this out. I'm not Jesse, but I think Intel is going to do 25 to 28, maybe. I don't know. I don't have any real confidence in Intel. They've just been a failing company for so long. And I don't think the current government is a government that wants to prop up shitty companies. But they're also going to be doing fabs. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'll check this out later, Jerry. I'll look at that later. Let's go back here. So, I'll probably go back to more news-related events. We've got about 26 minutes until we've got more economic data. As a Canadian, I wouldn't mind giving you guys military control and bases. I mean, if we're going to protect you and us, we probably should have it, right? We should have it, and we should have better trade negotiations too, at the very least. And then I think Greenland we should just own. I think that's my look, and I don't know. I don't know what Trump is looking to do, and we'll see. Pierre is going to be a much better leader. Luke, I've been stupid and bought MSTR 3x leverage, hoping we have bottomed on Bitcoin. Yeah, the 3x has probably been stupid painful. The 2x, there's tracking issues with the 2x. The 3x has got to just be insane. Again, it's a 3x multiplier, so the pain to the downside is going to be astronomical, especially with even just sideways chop. Sea-Dog, did you see the X post by Zelensky blaming a Russian drone for striking the Chernobyl cover? No, but I mean, Russia is definitely, I don't know. Putin will do all kinds of things. And again, escalating the war right before its end gives you more leverage. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Russia did that. Sealess, Taiwan let many companies fail. Many seemed hard not to save. Multiplier on ARKG contract are almost there, almost better than TLT. Yeah, I own a lot of ARKG too, right, man? I own over $400,000, probably $450 on ARKG calls. So my TLT is higher. It's in the 600s. I don't even know what it is today. I don't know if the numbers have updated. I don't think so. They haven't updated today, but I could have like 650 to 700,000 on that, but I've got like 450 on ARKG. So ARKG can do really, really good. And that's my hedge, so I want it to be larger anyway because it has to offset my entire portfolio. Bitcoin wants to go higher. I agree. 97.3. CJ, what's the equivalent of ARKG for UK investors, if you know? I don't know. Do you guys know? Can they get? Can the UK? Can European investors get into ARKG or something like it, guys? Do you know? Now just need Tesla, BTC, and AMD to fly. Yeah, I hope so. Freedom options. I bought MSTR 1000 2027 leaps because MSTR IB is so low and 52. How far out? 2027? Yeah. See, what worries me, bro, is you're way beyond a regular cycle. So that's my worry there, is just that will there be anybody to buy those? Because the cycle should end in 2025. It has every other time in the entire history of Bitcoin. So you're first off making a bet that this time is completely different, and you're placing a bet in a time frame that is in the bear market historically. So I don't know. I worry about that a little bit. I would rather have, that's why I worry about calls with MSTR, is because or any of these others, is because you have July and then everything else is probably going to be at the start of the bear, unless this time is truly different. And I don't know if I'm willing to place that bet yet. Unless, again, it's just stupid cheap and it's a small amount of money, then maybe it's worth it. CJ, thanks, Roy. What did Roy say? Roy said you can buy options for ARKG, cannot buy ETF stock from EU. Okay, so you can get the options. That's cool. That's what you want anyway, right? And you can look at my options video and just replace some of it with 2026. Here's what I have for options if people are interested. But again, you know how to do this stuff on your own too. So look it up and find your own. But I'll just tell you, my ARKGs are $50 calls for January 2026. You could go out even further. I might, as I make a bunch of money, I'm probably going to push them out to 2027s. Especially if I pocket a bunch, save it, and then end up having a bunch of cash. Totalist, there's no ARKG in Europe because we do not. Whoa, what was that? ARKG, that's ARKG. What is it doing? 7%? What? Guys. We can 10x that. So 7% can be 70%. Guys. Woo. Wow. Ooh. Oh, we're going to be making a lot of money today, guys. Just got to sit back and soak it up, you know? Boom, 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 boom. I wonder how many people will be inviting me on their YouTube channel in the next year. Probably a lot. That's funny. I'll probably turn 99% of them down. I am loyal to the people who were loyal to me. Jesse's micro turning into macro today. Fuck yeah. Going to be macro all day. It's going to be a giant phallus walking around. Sorry. Hopefully your kids stop listening. Andrew Corbet, never fade this man unless you hate money. I mean, I can be wrong for a period of time. But everybody can. Archie told you 2 days ago that EMA 200 was resistance and was already support. Yeah, dude, it's looking so good, Toddless. Jesse giving some hymns. I should have had hymns. I should have. Maybe I can be a sponsor of hymns now. I'm kidding. With that growth on my right nut, I don't think they're going to want me. I'll have to get that cut off first. Maybe I'll do that in the coming months. Toddless, until I see 250,000 followers, I think micro to macro will be undervalued. Thanks, bro. Pursuit of code, but you were still right. You were a year early on SoFi and Archie. I think I closed flat on SoFi. I didn't really do well on SoFi, and I was a year early on Archie, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm up on Archie right now. So, and with a 10x plus multiplier to the underlying, I can be wrong a couple of times. It's okay. I can be wrong for a period of time. That's okay too. I only lost 250 on PayPal. That was one of my worst bets. So it's all good. It comes around. SoFi was a tricky one. Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. Like PayPal, I thought they were going to do great. They had the new CEO from Intuit. I thought they were going to do great. He talked big things. He said he was literally going to change the world. And then for a year, all he did was lower his growth target from like 7-8% to 5%. And then he did a bunch of woke shit. Hired Will Ferrell, the same guy who did a movie with his transgender or friend or some Netflix special. And then they show all these product things that are just like a bunch of California shit. Their app still sucks. And X Payments is coming. fuck them. And SoFi, Anthony, come on, buddy. I was telling Vlad that he needed to get into crypto again because they had all this legacy shit, and they needed to get Solana and a bunch of other coins and needed to really embrace it. You know what they did? They embraced it. And what did Hood's earnings look like this last report? Pretty good, I guess. Because they do the things that they should do and that you think they're going to do and that you recommend that they do. Because they're like, that makes sense. We should do that. But has SoFi done that? Can you guys tell me? SoFi literally exited the market. SoFi probably thought Trump was going to lose. I'm sure Alex Chris did too. Because he doesn't seem much less woke than the last guy now that I'm looking at it. And I'm pretty sure Alex Chris would be the same guy that would take all your money if you're a Canadian trucker and you're on the wrong side of the argument. So I have no faith in PayPal. I have little faith in SoFi. I want to have faith in SoFi, but you guys need to catch up because you ain't Hood in any way. You're not Hood in any way. And I can't even take the credit for Hood. I saw Amit, and I love Amit. I don't want to diss on Amit, but I will say this. He had a thing showing how much he'd made off of his options contract with Hood. The one thing I didn't see him say was thank you to Arnie for bringing it to him, because Arnie brought it to me and him at the same time. It's all about Arnie. Now, we saw it, and we're smart enough to see it and understand, wow, that is a great opportunity. I like the thesis. I support it too, and we jumped on the bandwagon too. But neither one of us, I don't know if we would have really followed Hood that much, and Amid would have had the opportunity he would have had, and I would have had my 1,600 to 1,700% gains without Arnie. So Arnie gets all the credit for that stuff. We just bandwagoned him. Not that we didn't work and do our part, but you got to give credit where credit is due. You got to. You got to be loyal to people. You got to give them credit for their hard work. You got to. I still hate Amit. Which Amit? Not Amit. Is that his last name? Nobody hates Amit. Brian Smith, SoFi is a bank and can't do what Robinhood. No, they can. They fucking totally can. That's fucking bullshit. They literally, what they did was they were afraid of what was going to happen to them because of their bank charter. Okay? But that's bullshit. They could totally lean in and embrace this right now, even with the bank charter. It's very apparent that the new head of the CFTC is a wonderful person, okay? Yeah, don't hate any Amits. That's what Amit said in chat. But no, it's very clear that SoFi can get on board and start jumping in, just like all the other banks are working to do right now, too. They should be at the lead of that. I love money, says Chicken Bro. Mountain Off Grid. I read Amit's post yesterday and felt the same. Yeah. So again, I just like, and don't get me wrong, Amit has been great and he has done a shit ton for Robinhood, right? Like he's literally been there interviewing, being a part of the whole thing. But I just want to give credit back to the OGs that gave this shit to me. I showed you guys yesterday, I gave you the receipts showing that Arnie introduced me to this. And Arnie had the thesis before any of us. And those people are great. People that bring great stuff to you, you got to acknowledge that and you got to enjoy it. Tesla's down 0.37%, by the way. TLT's still up 0.7%. Albert, Hood and SoFi are quite different companies, though. They are different cohort of customers. Sure. But I think that SoFi, the whole reason I love SoFi is they were removing the physical locations. They were focusing more on being a new bank 2.0. Right? But they're not being that. They're not being aggressive enough. They need to embrace the technology. They need to push the edge of what they can do. They need to break a few rules without getting in trouble, okay? Because if you can't compete with Hood, you're done. Hood wants to be the everything app. Hood wants to be like X Payments. They want to do... X wants to be everything, guys. It wants to be the place that you click a button to be able to call a Tesla. It wants to be the place where you can pay all your bills from it, where it's your social media, it's your YouTube, it's everything. Hood wants to do that too. It's very clear. If SoFi can't do that, then SoFi will just be Redbox. It'll be the transition from Hollywood Video and Blockbuster to Netflix. And I don't want SoFi to be Redbox, but it will be. So they better get their shit in order. That's all I'm saying. All right. But Hood and SoFi aren't direct They are. They are. If you don't see that they're direct competitors, man, I'm sorry. Hood has money market accounts. Hood has literally, you could can you direct or deposit your money into Hood? I don't even know. They're an exchange. They have everything, and they're trying to be everything to everyone. Tell that to my Robinhood Gold credit card that I use all the time. Like, trust me, Hood is trying to be the bank of the future. Yes. They're trying to be the everything. They're trying to be your source of money for the future. And so they are direct competitors. I'm sorry, they just are. The concept of a bank is dying. It's going away. It's going to be facilitating financial transactions and opportunities with those things. Hood is the closest thing to a bank right now, the future bank, than any bank I know of. Easier than starting from scratch than to rebrand SoFi to X Finance. Yeah. X is going to dominate. X is going to dominate. X and Hood will just rule so much in the future. Pursuit of code, or no, it's you. Macro Polo, and if your online transaction service, you better have a good app. Yes. Hood's just so much better. Jesse, have you totally given up on PayPal? Yeah, fuck yeah. I don't own any of it. Fuck PayPal. Fuck the CEO. Fuck you, Alex Chris. That's my message for you. After the honey scam, after all just not doing anything for a year and reducing your growth targets, it's not an asymmetric bet for me anymore. It's just a good way to lose money. I lost $250,000 in 2 years of my life. Done. Good luck to anybody who holds it. Sean, Robinhood will eventually allow you to get yield on your Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, totally. Kyle Wright, the one thing Hood doesn't have is mortgage and auto loans. But once they allow you to be able to custody your Bitcoin on it, I'm sure they can incorporate all that stuff. PayPal is canceled. Yes, sir. Fuck PayPal. Straight up. And even my buddy Tanner, Future Invest, even he exited his PayPal position. He's like, I'm done with it. I'm just done. PayPal also suspended Tom Nash account. Yes, yeah, dude, exactly. I'm just like, I can't deal with the bullshit. Hagel Invest, thank you for joining, my friend. Appreciate you being a member. So ARKG still up 6%, looking all right. It's about 9 o'clock. We got more economic data. I'm probably going to bail after this, guys. Yeah, it's Valentine's Day. I'm going to hang out with my wife. And plus, I got a chiropractor appointment for the first time in ages, trying to focus on my health. I ate an entire can of crab, or half a can of crab meat today. Got to make sure I document that. It was delicious, but it's a lot of crab meat, yo. It's wild caught. Feeling pretty full, but lots of good protein in that. Probably should throw it away, though. It smells like fish in here. Woo! What made you take Hood as an investment at the time? Arnie. Arnie did. Arnie's the man. He had a really good thesis on it, and I looked into it, and I was like, everybody hates Vlad because of what happened with Robinhood, when really they should have their anger towards Citadel for destroying them and preventing their ability to be able to allow people to be able to, buy more so that they could push up the price. And so the narrative was really negative, but the technicals and the financials and the fundamentals of the company were getting better all the time. So I got into it. All right. Happy Valentine's Day to you and the admin wife. Lots of love. Thank you. All right. So what do we got here? Business inventories are in decline. So we're seeing a reduction in inventories, just a little bit lower than expected for forecasts for business inventories, and retail inventories ex autos are much lower than expected. They were expecting 0.2. Again, this is minus auto. It was at 0.5, but now it's negative 0.1. So inventories are falling. I don't know. Pursuit of code. Just sold my remaining 22 shares of PayPal for Hood. I think it's just a better bet, man. And again, Hood is just, or PayPal. The only thing I liked about PayPal was the options play. That was it. So inventories, guys, just at their lowest levels. Really? Their lowest levels since the pandemic for business inventories. That's fascinating. Lots of really interesting, fascinating data. Let's just read here. So business inventories in the United States measure the monthly percentage change in inventories from manufacturers, retailers, wholesalers. Inventories are a key component of gross domestic product. Huh. So inventory is dropping. This can be seen in different ways. I'm not going to judge it yet. I need more information, but I am going to note it because I think it could be important. Thanks, Jesse, for a great week. Have to go, but have a great weekend and hope you have a great day. I appreciate you and your work so much. Thank you, Luke. You too, buddy. You have a great Valentine's Day, man. Hagen and the Hagen Best, will you go even deeper into TLT calls? I probably not. I already have, I don't know exactly what I have. It's probably $650,000 in them, which is like probably 14%. 13, I don't even know. It's a decent percentage of my portfolio right now, and it's just meant to be a hedge. So that's probably it, honestly. If you're using crab meat for keto, you have made it, sir. I'm just using it to be healthy. I got to add on to this, though, because this is a fascinating figure. Business inventories, and then we'll look at other inventories here in a second, are at their lowest. Well, I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull up Arnie's account. Business inventories are at their lowest levels since the pandemic. No, I don't want that. What's the thinking? Think. Yeah, okay. There you go. That guy. Oh, and I should probably put it in there. There we go. All right, let's look at these other inventories. I'll pull up Arnie here. Actually, I'll say, you know what? I'll just do this real quick. We got to do this real quick. We're gonna pull up Arnie because I want to give him full and utter fucking credit. So I'm gonna do it in a very public way, and then you guys can just operate off that. Okay. Yeah, we should thank him in a public way, not just on here. Hey, he subscribes to me. What a stud. Yeah, let's get that out. So that's Arnie. Any thoughts on the Coinbase earnings today? They could probably do really good. I'm not really a Coinbase fan, though. I don't like them as much as I like Hood. Hood is a smaller cap. I don't know if it is anymore. Maybe it's gotten so big it's not. But I like Hood better. But I think they could do good. I mean, if Robinhood had huge growth in crypto trading, I would assume that translates into Coinbase too. Or maybe they're stealing from them. I don't know. Maybe they're stealing trades from them. Theo, Jesse, how do you handle getting into a stock that just posted good earnings and is up? Either trending, it just depends. It just depends. I try and make sure that I really understand. I really don't operate that way, Theo. Like, I'm the guy who's a bottom feeder. I look for trash. I shouldn't say trash. I look for things that have been heavily destroyed. Like, I was buying Meta in the 80s. If you look at Meta, it's a little bit higher now. I was buying Palantir in the 7s. I was buying Hood in whatever the fuck it was. It made 1,700%. It was really low. I was buying Tesla in 2017 before it went up 32x. I was buying it again at 100. I was buying it again at 150. I'm a bottom feeder. My focus is owning the right things that are the future. I want to own the right things that are the future, and I want to find things that are oversold that fit that. And that's how I've gotten rich. That's how I find my asymmetric bets is going, hey, Bitcoin's at the bottom of its bear cycle. I think I can do an easy 10x. If I apply some leverage, maybe I can get 20, 30, 40x. And then I do that. And so I believe in undervalued plays, incredibly undervalued plays that are going to be the future, and that's just how I do it. Some people chase, and they see good earnings and they chase. That's not my style, so I can't even speak to it. Dario, guys, hit the like button for Master Chief. You don't realize how lucky we are to have found Jesse. Since I started following him, I'm up crazy. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear it, bro. Was yesterday evening. What was that, Florent? I don't know what you're trying to say. Soros Capital Management opened a big position in SoFi. I don't like George Soros, but Gemini Knight, Jesse, I really like you. Have a great Valentine's Day, my friend. Thank you, bro. Florent. Oh, was it yesterday? I don't even know. I don't pay attention to their earnings. It might have been. Or maybe it might have been listed wrong, too. Sometimes Visual Stocks doesn't have the earnings dates right. But yeah, so let's just look. I want to look one more time. So business inventories, lowest level in 4 years. Interesting. The retail inventories, let's just hop in here. So they're at the lowest level, not nearly as much. And this is X Auto, so just March of 2024. So I'm going to leave that alone. Very interested about business inventories, though. Check out NBIS. NVIDIA has been buying stock going in the right way now. NVIDIA has been buying NBIS. See, NVIDIA owns just so many different things. They invest in a bunch of different companies. I'll add it to a list, but I think I've got a really solid playbook right now. If I'm adding more, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Pursuit of Code, when did they do that? Bro eating crab meat from a can. What a savage. Dude, it's wild. It's wild, and it's like the healthiest out there. I would rather have real crab meat in a $20 can than some fake shit that isn't that good for you. I like my protein, man. I'm trying to get healthier. Ethio, hopefully your kid's gone, doing something else. I like the asymmetric bets. Yeah, that's my play, man. My play is trying to own the things that are going to be the future that are asymmetric. It's literally my thing. And so if you're following me, that's going to be the focus of what you see. It's not going to be like, oh, hey, Hims did really good today, so I'm going to jump into Hims. Or Palantir just hit a new all-time high, so I'm going to hop into Palantir. And don't get me wrong, I do regret selling Palantir too early, and I do own Hims products. I just didn't see the vision and for the moat there, so I didn't get too excited about it. Trump up 30%? Cool. Nice, dude. Wow, it's above all peak volume now here too. Look at that. Really nice positioning to 25. And then maybe a bounce. Maybe something like this, guys. Maybe something like this. Up, down, like this, down, and then up again, and then like start hitting targets, and maybe getting above here, and then just breaking out. This thing can go up a lot. Jesse, get some good wild caught salmon. I eat that too. I actually love salmon with cranberry salmon. I don't know. There's some stuff that you can get with it. It's just delicious. You sold Palantir too early. Welcome to the club. Hef Williams, ARKG 2950, almost sweet. Yeah, it's going to be a good day, guys. I think it's going to be a good day. Tesla down a little bit, but I'm not really worried about that because TLT's up, ARKG's up, Trump coin's up, and I'm seeing a good $200,000+ day. So it feels good. It feels good. It feels like we're finding our direction, and I think we can really outperform in the future. It looks like I'm only making about 5x the underlying right now on TLT. But again, it's a good 11x play. So the higher we go, the more that multiplier will apply. Sardines. I used to love sardines. I can't do it anymore. They just taste gross. It's weird. I just cannot do it anymore. Maybe I need to do some concoction like you're talking about. I just can't do it anymore, though. So ARKG, I'm up. Holy shit. Sorry. Yeah, ARKG calls, guys, today. Just watch out if you're looking to get into ARKG. Maybe don't do it today, guys, because these things are up 30% today. So that's only about a 4x or a 5x, the underlying. This can actually go, it could be up 50% today. But this is a lot in a day, okay? This is a lot in a day. So I'm just warning you, like, just understand that. And CleanSpark, I don't know what CleanSpark's up. CleanSpark isn't up that much. I thought people said it was up a lot more. It's only up about 2.27, so it's not doing that great. Smoked sardines. I love olive oil. Olive oil is so good for you, dude. Scott King, 200,000 week following your lead, buddy. Very much appreciate all your hard work and happy Valentine's Day. Love, love, and love. Thank you. ABC 789 Hoddle. Jesse, bake your own bread. Easy, good for your health. Supermarkets and bakers put many. Oh, there's so many. I'm so happy that we have Robert F. Kennedy, guys. Oh my God. Your crisp options are up. So dude, CRISPR's up 80% on your options. How far out are they, Pursuit? Are they short term or are they leaps? Looks like Solana's up 5% today too. Guys, so much money is going to be made. So much money is going to be made. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great day. It looks like, again, Tesla not doing too good. It looks like leaps are okay so far. TLT not up as much as I'd hoped, but between all my stuff, I'm still sitting close to 650 on that one. And yeah, I'm liking the setup, guys. I'm liking the setup. I think there's a lot of good things that are going to happen in the future. I hope you guys enjoy the ride. DLO, I still think DLO can do well. That 35 strike is a long way off, though, because we're only at 13. If we get up into the 20s, then I think you start to see the leaps picking up. But for now, they're just kind of meandering. Still at 40,000, but I got 112 into them, so I'm down 60 or 70. So it's not a great number. That varies so much, though. Like tomorrow, it could be down 40. Make sure your olive oil is single source. Okay. I'll talk to the wife. She's the pro on that stuff. Anyway, I love you guys. I think I'm done for the day. It looks like ARKG and Trump are the big MVPs today, so very excited about that. Hopefully we have a good weekend, and I will keep posting things that I believe are really relevant. And if you guys want to see this stuff on Monday, come around, and we will talk about all the goodies and make sure that you guys are making a bunch of money here. Or at least that's the goal. Peace out, guys. I love you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I think we should probably do an oldie but a goodie here, maybe. Let me just see here. We got, yeah, you know what? I think we are. We're going to do a Trump one. We're going to do a Trump one. We're going to do this one because it's my favorite. Here you go. Actually, I'm going to try one other one. Sorry. I don't even know if I've listened to this one, but we're going to play it. Here we go. Peace out, guys.
Young fan, play the beat.
I'ma go colonize Mars, spit these fire bars, change the way you're driving cars. If you hate me, you're racist. I'm African American. They're hiring people based on race and heritage. They're grooming kids, teaching them about trans, gay sex. I'm grooming my children to take over SpaceX. I have X running better after slashing paycheck. I'm a billionaire, but at a time I couldn't pay rent. I do it for the memes. Politicians have schemes. There's not a left or right, they're all on the same team. They say that I'm a Zionist and anti-Semitic. Which one is it? Make up your mind, they're all pathetic. I'm hated by the right, I'm hated by the left. Guess that means I'm doing something right, how quickly they forget. Call me radical Republican, but my life is EV. Bob Iger is the clown, so is Stephen King. Mark Cuban is a dork, Zuckerberg too. The government is spending all our money, we should sue. I paid $44 billion to acquire X. Hunter Biden paid $44 billion for sex.
I just planted 1 billion trees. I just cured a whole damn disease. I just sold 1 billion chocolate bars overseas. I just gave 10,000 people sight who couldn't even see. I bought a private island just so I could take a pee. I bought a hotel just so I could go to sleep. I just bought a private jet, got the pilot out of debt. If you're hating on me, well, that's just a normal side effect. I just tipped my waitress and I gave her ass a car.
Well, I just ended the Russia and Ukraine war.
Oh. Hey Trump, it's really nice meeting you. Do you want to invest in festivals?
Thank you, Jimmy, for that offer. It's really nice. Maybe we can save America from dying twice. I mean, when you fill your gas up, look at the price. The government is spending too much and it isn't right. We need a Department of Government Efficiency. They tried to sue me, shoot me, even imprison me. Thank God they can't aim and keep on missing me. P. Diddy supported Kamala, even Hillary. Myself, Elon, Mr. Beast are gonna save the planet. But we'll drill, baby, drill. The left wants to ban it. I believe in climate change. I think it's really real. I just don't believe the fear that they're trying to sell. November 2024, you know who to vote for. Used to be loved by celebs, Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg. Then I ran, everyone turned their back. But like that traitor Arnold,